Okay, Valerie, I've got your work up here. We've got the front over here, and then I've got the back over here. And one thing I want to mention is that in the graphic design, in any kind of presentation in graphic design, it would be considered an industry best standard practice if you have if you combine your presentation files into one multi-page file, as opposed to submitting um, multiple files. Right now you have two files, one for the front, one for the back. Okay, so the good news is this piece is superior to the last, superior. This type right here is handled very well. I do have some issues in presentation. I will talk about that in a second, but I think that the whole general feel is much, much better. Now, my only problem is this, is that technically this is a placed image. And also it's actually a low res image. If we can see, let me just zoom in here. So, whoops, I mean zoom in, not zoom out. Let's zoom in, and you can see how badly damaged that is. That's a low resolution image. So, and it's also a placed image. So technically, we're not supposed to use placed images. Remember, this is a typographic piece. The only placed image really you're supposed to use is the image of your laureate on the back of the poster. So I would say that this is, I would have rather seen you try to develop something like this kind of feel, this kind of psychedelic vibe yourself, rather than find an image and place it and use it the background for the front and the back. Okay. Over here in the back of the poster, let's take a look at what we have. And I'll zoom in here a little bit. And you've broken a golden rule in typography. And again, go back to week 3. Do you remember when we had that one assignment where we had the 17 typographic rules and then we all added one? I would review that section, because right now you're breaking one of the golden rules in typography, and by stroking your body copy. You've got, let's zoom in, I'll show you what I mean. You've got white type with a black stroke. And that is considered not to be a best practice in terms of typography. Okay, the justified type columns are okay, but you have to go in and recompose, because justified type quite often creates these spaces, these uneven spaces right here. And that's something that they have to be accommodated for, and you have to do it manually in InDesign. And if you know how, that's awesome. If not, let me know. I'll shoot you some settings, and some InDesign settings. I'll take care of those spaces. It's really easy. Maybe I'll just put them right in my written response for this. I'll do that. Okay, and then the only other problem I'm seeing here is that the timeline is not really, well, actually I've got two other problems. This is an orphan right here, or a widow, whichever you decide to call it. They're kind of synonymous, but basically that's a word on a line alone at the end of a paragraph, and you do not want that. So then the timeline, I would have liked to see the timeline being actually being designed. This isn't a design timeline per se. It's basically a chronological list of events. The difference between a chronological list of events and a timeline is, of course, that a timeline is somewhat designed in an infographic type kind of feel to it. Okay, so other than that, I think. Okay, let me see here. What do we got? Other than that, I think you've done a good job. Okay, so I'll have my some comments for you in the actual grading rubric itself, but no big deal. I mean, I think you've done a good job. A couple of typographic errors, I'll make note of that though. So, all right, good job. Any questions at all? Please let me know. Thanks.